value. Right? So I don't think there's any particular reason to think that. You've seen lots of variations in the rates at which societies age. I can't think off the top of my head there's any particular correlation with inflation. So I don't think that need be the case.
No,
I mean, I was going to say, it probably has been true in our forecasts and our assessment that this early retirement, as opposed to the stuff that's been very long, that's just a result of aging, may have had an effect on the gap between demand and supply. Because when people age, when people retire, their saving rates suddenly fall. And so if suddenly someone brings forward that date, it may have contributed to some degree to the current rates of inflation, a bit. I mean, nothing like the extent to which energy and food prices have done. And I think Hugh made that point.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we would make, some people describe, and probably I have in the past, potential supply as being some kind of speed limit on the economy. And we would recognise that it is the level of output the economy can sustain without adding to inflationary pressures. That may have applied recently for the reasons Ben says, but I think more generally when you look at our forecast, we're opening up, over the next 3 years, we're opening up spare capacity, as Andrew was saying, i.e. demand is weaker than supply. So as you move further out in our forecast, it's certainly not acting as it's not constraining growth. However, your more general long-term point, if you can get potential supply up, that means that the economy can grow at a faster rate over the long term. So it's definitely worth any policies that will increase labour supply or will increase productivity. Those have been the focus of successive governments ever since I've been working in the public sector, which is over 30 years. So that's not a new idea that you're trying to increase potential supply in the economy. It's just it's very weak at the moment.
John Paul Ford Rojas from the Daily Mail. The NPR talks about the impact of fiscal tightening and tax rises and specific policies introduced in the November autumn statement, and it suggests that the impact of these will, at the end of the period, reduce the level of GDP by 0.4%. So it seems like you're saying that fiscal policy, tax rises, fiscal tightening is effectively a handbrake on growth. And is this a frustration for you as you formulate monetary policy, particularly with the outlook for GDP stagnating all the way through to 2026? The supplementary one is just about market reaction today on the path of interest rate. Interest rate suggested it's going to be up to 4.25% later this year. Is there any reaction? Comment.
Well, let me say one on this before, so I'll explain you on the market rates. Let me say two things. One, and what you see from, I think, the chart you're referring to is that fiscal policies, and we obviously, let me say, condition all our views on announced government policy. We don't do anything other than that. And what you see, of course, is that fiscal policy does move from being somewhat supportive to then tightening as time goes by, and that's consistent, I think, with the Chancellor's announcements late last year. And that brings me to the second point, which, of course, is that it is important that we have sustainable fiscal policy. I mean, that's the furthest point I'll make as a central bank governor, but it is important that we have sustainable fiscal policy.
And just on your other point, we took the very unusual step, extremely unusual step in November of commenting on market curves, but I'm afraid from your perspective, normal services resumed, and we're not going to comment at all on market reactions.
Francine and then Esha.
Well done.
The labor market may mean that inflation doesn't quite fall to 2% for a long time.
Well, let me put the words "long time" to one side. I'll come back to that. I think we've laid out very clearly that there is one of the risks that we've identified